Hello people, I am Charlie Simmons and I am a slacker. And this is my vlog on Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Ooh. So, what did I think of this movie? Well, it's not as good as the first film. It's better. And it's not just a good movie, it's a good sequel. In fact, this may be one of the best sequels I can think of, because it just ups the characters, it ups the stakes, it ups the drama. It just totally makes you wonder where the series is gonna go from here. At least it makes me do that, since I'm an uncultured twat who's never read the books. Anyhow, so the film starts out pretty similarly to the first one. Harry Potter is living with the Dursleys, who are treating him like shit and talking shit to him, when some stranger from the magic world comes and breaks some news to him. Only this time, it's not dear old Hagrid who's come to give him some news, it's Dobby, the house elf. And I'm just going to say that I personally don't find Dobby to be annoying, just not all that funny, I'll give him that. Sorry, Dobby. Anyhow, Dobby does tell Harry that he cannot go back to Hogwarts this year. But of course, that doesn't stop Harry Potter, as Ron comes, picks him up in a flying car, and spirits him off to the Wizarding World once more in order for Harry and Ron's second year at Hogwarts, with Hermione, of course. And, well, knowing this series, like I do, Harry, Ron and Hermione quickly find themselves embroiled in another crisis, as threatening messages written in blood start appearing on the walls of school at night, and students turn up petrified, nearly dead. These are children, mind you, these students. And if that wasn't creepy enough, there's a mysterious noise coming from the walls that only Harry can understand, it seems. So Dumbledore is all like, this is due to the Chamber of Secrets. And what is the Chamber of Secrets? Well, it's just that. It's a secret chamber beneath the school, built by the founder of Slytherin to destroy all of the Half-Bloods. Yeah, basically it's the most effective form of racial cleansing since the Holocaust. On that note, that is where the film shines. This film is clearly a little more grown up than The Philosopher's Stone. Harry and his friends have gotten older, and so this film has to take things up a notch. And that's why it succeeds as a sequel. It doesn't just retread old ground, kind of like what any sequel Michael Bay is doing right now would do, for instance. It actually continues the story from where it left off and expands upon what we've learned from the previous film. For instance, before we get to Hogwarts again, we spend the first act getting to know Malfoy's family, Ron's family, and even a little bit about Hermione's heritage. For instance, the Malfoys are, of course, the hoity-toity purebloods who look down upon the Weasleys and their poor living condition, or fascination with Muggles. And then we have Hermione, who is the most despicable piece of scum to the Malfoys because she is a mudblood. You see, in the first video you might remember that I thought Ron and Hermione's characters were good, but they were just kind of standard. Well, in this we actually really get to know more about them things that we didn't know before, and things that make us sort of sympathize with them even better. I mean, just like the first film where they're showing us all these elements, all these different aspects of the wizarding world, which then tie into the actual story later on. The whole Half-Blood thing is, of course, central to the story. I mean, it's the Half-Blood kids that are in danger. Spoiler alert, Hermione being one of them. But now we sort of know that Hermione isn't just this brainiac. She's so studious because, well, she gets discriminated and maybe feels inferior to other witches, other pure blood witches. Even Ron gets kind of a cute little subplot about how he has this broken wand that's always backfiring. It doesn't really add as much as Hermione, but it does kind of make me feel sorry for him, how he's always just kind of the comic relief. Always taking shots from chosen ones like Harry Potter. Another thing that makes this film stand out from the first one is how much more real shit begins to get. I mean, with the first movie, most of the conflict was just about Harry, how he deals with the loss of his parents and sort of being stalked by some creepy face-hugging dark wizard all the time. But here, this whole Chamber of Secrets thing actually affects not only the Half-Blood community, but possibly but the whole school, in fact. The school is actually in danger of being closed down because of this whole thing. The Ministry of Magic, the government that runs everything, comes in and says that Dumbledore needs to step down from his position, and even Hagrid, even likable old Hagrid isn't safe. He gets framed for letting out this thing that's sort of petrifying all the Half-Bloods. So yeah, things are getting pretty real, as you can see. And of course, this film deals with some pretty heavy topics as well. Topics like racism and genocide. But it still has like plenty of playful and light-hearted moments as well. Like the obligatory Quidditch match and Ron, of course. And then old Gilderoy Lockhart, the new Defense of Dark Arts teacher, who's basically just a total fraud. Sorry for all the spoilers, but what did you expect? This is a vlog. As for the whole mystery aspect of the movie, I think it's done better here than it was done in The Philosopher's Stone. First of all, you might remember in the last video how I thought it kind of sucked that Professor Snape was basically just there to be nothing more than a red herring, and even then, all the mystery solving that really went on only happened during the final part of the Philosopher's Stone, where they go into the third floor corridor. Before that, it was mostly down to characters sneaking around and characters saying that they found something in this book and that the Philosopher's Stone does this or something. But here, the movie is generous enough to give us a decent setup for the mystery and a pretty decent progress to it. Early on, the film sort of introduces us to the main components to the whole mystery, one of them being a diary belonging to an old student named Tom Riddle, this ghost that lives in the girls' toilets, and of course, Harry's snake talking. Because if there was anything at all in the Philosopher's Stone that deserved to have an explanation, it was why Harry could talk to a snake one time. And from there, Harry, Ron and Hermione play a pretty proactive role, at least we see them, in sort of figuring things out. They make a potion that allows them to disguise themselves as Slytherin students, Hermione Hermione finds out what the creature is even when she's been petrified, and and Harry actually figures out that Hagrid is not guilty, thank God. But there are some drawbacks to the story as well. One of them being that I think some parts tend to drag on a bit too much. Especially, again, the scene with the whole story about Hagrid being framed. I mean, Harry and Ron go into the woods to look for this spider that supposedly is what Hagrid released from the Chamber of Secrets, only to find that Hagrid is not guilty, spoiler alert. And then it turns into this whole action scene where they have to like get away from giant spiders trying to eat them, when really in hindsight the only purpose it served is to just let us know that Hagrid isn't guilty. But still, the focus is mostly kept where it should be, on the dark stuff. Because this film really nailed giving us sort of a creepy, dark atmosphere, given the slightly darker tone and higher stakes that we got in this film. And they didn't even need to wash out the colours like they do in the later films where they're supposed to be all super mature. This film can still be light-hearted, which I respect, but at the same time it can be tense and even kind of terrifying, by only doing stuff like the shadows, brilliantly tense John Williams score, and even the camera angles, like there's a few angles of long corridors that are sort of tilted on an angle, like in an old film noir, kind of like giving everything a distorted feel. That's really cool. I mean, I've only seen that a few times, and I think it was pretty neat to see a little film noir nod in a movie about wizards. And well, what more can I say, but this film is definitely the Empire Strikes Back to the Philosopher's Stone: A New Hope. It ups the ante, it gives us new insights into the characters, and it does it in a dark way that sort of makes us question where things are going. Without giving away any more spoilers, thank God, let's just say that while the ending does end on a triumphant note, all is saved and whatnot, it does raise some questions about Voldemort and Slytherin, especially the Malfoys, that really make you wonder how bright and happy and wonderful this wizarding world of wonder really is. Well, Harry Potter, so far you've impressed me. Only your second film in, and already you're starting to up the ante, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Well, until next time, I am Charlie Simmons, and I am a slacker. Thanks for watching.